This is the start of Geek Week, a series of films by the Totally Awesome Fishing Show designed to bring you up to date with the very latest fish finding technology and supplied by Lowrance, world famous leaders in their field. We had exclusive filming that was arranged by Lyndon Lewis Marine in Shepperton, where we got to talk with Craig Davis from Navico, an expert with all the Lowrance products. At Lyndon Lewis, you also have the chance of purchasing a huge variety of marine chandlery from either their nautical shop right on the River Thames or even a complete boat and engine. They are the leaders in the marine field, so sit back and soak up some of that new technology that may just put you in with a chance of some more fish. And that will be, yes, totally awesome. My first meeting was with Russell Walker, the sales director of Lyndon Lewis Marine. Now Russell, I'm pretty impressed with this place because I've seen your other place where I pike fished, down on the weir there. Yeah. This is Lyndon Lewis's other operation, which is, what would this be, Shepperton what? Shepperton Marina?
This is Shepperton Marina on the north side of the river, just outside London. And this is our big chandlery shop, probably the biggest on the Thames, about 3,000 square feet of chandlery here. And we keep all our engine parts and spares here and run our service operation as well.
Gotcha. Now, the reason you dragged me up here is because somewhere up here you said there's going to be a truckload of electronic wizardry and goodies. So what's this about?
So today we've invited Navico up, who are the manufacturers, distributors in Europe for Lowrance products, Simrad products, and for sailing B&G products. And the guys are outside right now with their trailer with all those goodies on it.
Now, are we going to be able to look this? Have they got some electrical system we can actually physically be able to show people on there?
Yeah, it's all running. We all plumbed it into the mains, and it's all up and running, display modes and all the rest of it.
And a lot of this is the latest. This is really the latest stuff to come out.
This is the latest gear that you can buy in this country.
Guys,
in Lowrance.
I think we need to get outside. Let's go.
Graeme, can I introduce you to Craig from Lowrance Simrad?
Hiya. Hello Craig, how are you going?
Very good. You?
Well, I'm good now, and I'm near water, so I'm on equipment, so I know I'm good. It's near something fishery, there's a fishery feel about this place. So what is this unit? This is a display unit that you can actually show people exactly how your product works.
Exactly, this is our mobile trailer that we have. Yeah. We can kit it out with Lowrance product, Simrad, or our B&G product, and we tow it along to shows, help all our dealers out, because not everybody has this sort of facility.
No, so it's really impressive. You've got 6, 10, you've got about 20 units in here. Now, let's get cracking, let's get started here. I've not done it, so I'm not an expert, right? This kayak business, this kayak fishing, seems to me to be getting a lot more popular nowadays. And I've seen a few paddling around when I've been sharking down North Cornwall. I've seen guys going out, they're only going out inshore, I know. Yeah. But they got quite a bit of gizmo and gadgetry, and they seem well organised. They seem very well organised and everything, because obviously it's a bit wobbly on a kayak. How do they know about the depths they're fishing over on the bottom? What would you say is a suitable equipment for them?
Well, a lot of the kayak fishermen now are using we have a small range of Lowrance products called the Elite series.
Yes.
And they range from 4 inches up to 7-inch displays, and they're available with fish finder only models, combined GPS and fish finders. And they're really low on power consumption, so the kayak fishermen love those. Right. Because they don't have to worry about.
Get me over there. I can see stuff in the corner that looks good to me, and we'll see if we can run through and at least show some of the facilities to people that this can offer them.
Brilliant. Okay, so we have our Lowrance Elite 4 here. Now this series is available in several options. There's fish finder only models and combined GPS fish finder models. The one we have on display here is our Elite 4 DSI. Now this has a very high frequency fish finder sounder built into it, and what it gives you is very clear sonar data. So if you were running in fresh water and you were running over like trees and things like that, you would see all the individual branches and things like that mapped out on the screen. You can see here we've got shoals of fish. Now it really picks out the individual fish rather than it all merging together, and you'd be able to see areas of weed and things like that that are on the seabed as well, and use that to target specific species. It's pretty simple. It's a fish finder only. It's got a nice simple menu structure. And this one also has the GPS element built into it. So users are out on the sea have the ability to use this device as a plotter if they want, so they know where they are. They're not going to get lost on the water. If they do get in trouble, they'll be able to report a position and call that through to somebody. It will also give you things like tidal information, and you can do your split screens as well. So when you are out paddling along on your kayak, you'll be able to see where you're paddling. It will map that route out for you. So if there is something that you see that looks quite good, you can mark a waypoint on that and say, right, this is a great spot, had some really good bass here. And you can obviously also see what the structure of the seabed's like.
So what exactly do they do as regards to transducer and mounting it onto a kayak?
So the Elite series all comes supplied with a transom mounted transducer. We call it a skimmer transducer. And we do a specific mount for kayaks because the majority of these seagoing kayaks now come with what we call a scupper hole already built into them. So we do a specific scupper mount which goes through the hull of the kayak, and the transducer then clips onto the bottom of that. So it's nice and flush with the bottom of the hull, and they're not having to worry about it falling off and having to stick a sucker on the bottom of the kayak each time that they go out.
Yeah, because the problem, I would have thought, if you're launching through the surf, you might ground it on the bottom of the sand or something when you're launching. So there's no problems, in that aspect.
That's it, exactly, yeah. So it's nice and simple. It's just basically a simple, easy, just a threaded nut and a bolt that goes through the hull with the transducer attached to the bottom. It's all watertight, and it's universal, so it's compatible with pretty much most manufacturers of kayak.
So what about mounting on a kayak? Because they're pretty... well, I won't say they're unstable, but you can't just stand it on the top. How would they mount those on there?
So you can see here we've got the nice sort of bracket mount. That it's actually a tilt and swivel mount. So these would actually generally be screwed to a point on the kayak. So if they did tip the kayak over, the unit's going to be nice and secure. So it's a big robust mount. They can adjust the angle that the unit sits at, and it will also swivel on that mount as well, side to side. And then the power cable sits nice and flush through the mounting as well. And that would run only needs to run off a small 12-volt sort of motorcycle battery, and that's a nice lightweight installation, and that's going to last all day while they're out in the water because these units don't draw a lot of power at all.
What about the screen in sunlight? A lot of them, including some of the ones I've been out fishing on, they're a nightmare in sunny conditions. Yeah. Now that looks very clear and very sharp. I know we're in this display unit here. What's it like really out on the water?
All our units are direct sunlight readable, so when you are out on the water and you've got the sun beaming down on them, you can still see the screens nice and clearly. A lot of users have given us a lot of good feedback with regards to how clear these screens are in the daylight.
And of course you've got that adjustable tilt, that must help as well.
That's it, yeah, so they can tilt it, twist it away from the sun if they need to, if they are really struggling to see it from afar. But I mean, these guys are using these out, even in the States, in the real hot climates, and they're not having any problems.
And what sort of depth are these units going to read to?
It all depends on the type of sound that they've got and the type of transducers, but some of the units, the bigger units, they'll read down to say sort of 400 meters, something like that. Okay, so on the sonar pages, there's a couple of different settings that you might play around with. A lot of users will keep them in the automatic settings. So we've got things like the range, which is your depth range. We can adjust this. This is almost a bit like a zoom. So if you're not worried about what's in the full water column, you can then choose it to focus on certain depth ranges. So we can say, right, we'll set it to 20 feet. And then if we come out of that, so we're now focusing only from the surface down to 20-foot depth. So any fish that were sort of in the mid column as such would show up there, so shoals of mackerel and things like that. And then if you wanted to just focus on the full lot and see the definition of the seabed, then again we just generally keep it on sort of auto or something like that. So we should have an auto setting hidden away here. And then that will automatically adjust, so as the depth of water changes, that will start to go up and down. So we can see here, as the bottom starts to drop away, that the range is constantly changing, so that's now changed to 30
So
foot.
That's all on automatic like that, yeah?
Yeah, so generally there's not a great deal of changes that you need to make. The automatic settings on these are pretty good now, and they will adjust things like the sensitivity, so give really clear the image up. So we've got things like the frequency, which is quite key on these. So the frequency, because this is our DSI sonar, it's operating at 800 kilohertz. Your traditional sonars will operate at 200 or 50.
Oh, big difference then.
Yeah, so that's what's giving us this real clear structure definition. 800 kilohertz, it's not as powerful, so it's not going to penetrate as deep as your 200 kilohertz would. But what we do have is the ability to change it to 455 kilohertz for when you are in those deeper waters and you start to lose the definition of the seabed when operating at that 800 kilohertz.
I mean, for a small screen, I mean, I'm looking at this through the camera and it's still very, very clear. Even zooming in like this, you can still see it, plenty of definition there.
Yes, that's it, exactly.
Now, what will be the next model up, you know, for this sort of inshore kayak, small boat type fishing, which will be your next unit?
So this Elite range, they're available in a 4-inch.
Yeah.
We have a 5-inch, which is our new Elite 5 HDI, and it's also available in a 7-inch. So the 5-inch, this new model with the HDI element on it, what that stands for is hybrid dual imaging. Basically what it is which the sonars with your downscan DSI sonar and your normal traditional sonar like we see here, you would have separate units of that. You wouldn't have one unit which could do all three. Yep. Now we do. The Elite 5 will do all three. So we can see here, if I split the screen, just press on the pen, this brings up the pages menu.
That's your pages menu. I reckon I've got one of these myself, HDS 5s, and I like the pages menu like that.
So what we're looking at here is the two different sounders operating at the same time in a split screen. So we've got your traditional sonar view operating at 200 kilohertz, which is what you'd use for getting things like bottom composition and also really staking out those fish. And then we've got the 800 kilohertz downscan, which gives us the really clear structure definition. So if you're running in amongst trees or wrecks and things like that, we get a really clear image of a wreck painted on the bottom of the seabed here. You'd be able to see things like masts. And even in the saltwater, these are still really clear, because obviously saltwater will affect the performance of sonar.
In what respect? How does that work?
So it will degrade the sonar signal. So in freshwater, the sonar signal itself will be able to travel a lot deeper, whereas in saltwater, it's a lot more dense, so
yes,
that it will weaken that sounder signal, so it won't penetrate as deep.
I got you, yeah.
But I was out using one of these the other day myself. I ran over a wreck and I could see the railings on the wreck, I could see the masts, and that was just out in the Solent.
And this is quite a small unit, and obviously one assumes bearable in price.
That's it, yeah. I mean, this unit here, you probably pick up for about £450, and that comes as a ready-to-go package. So you've got a GPS antenna built in. Yep. It comes with your power cable, your bracket mount, and also your HDI transducer. So you've got one transducer that does both. If normally you'd have to have two separate transducers, so then you're looking at mounting two transducers. But with the Lowrance product, you have that all in one.
Well, there's two units there. You give us a lot of information on there, Craig. Obviously, there's another one down here. I think we should take a look at this one. So what exactly does this one do?
So again, this falls in with the Elite series. This is our Elite 7 HDI. So much the same as the Elite 5, but it's the bigger screen, because some users, eyesight's not that great. They might struggle on the smaller screens. They want to go a little bit bigger. So it's
That's me. I need big.
Wider. So when we split the screens, you can see it's a lot clearer, because you've got two bigger window views. So I mean, here we've got a split with showing you the chart and the sonar at the same time. Yes. So obviously with the chart shows wider, because you're probably more, when you're using the chart page, you want to be able to see your vessel icon overlaid with any of the hazards that are on the chart, whether it be wrecks, shallow water, things like that. And again, with this unit, it's got being HDR, you've got that split of the two different sonar products built in. So you've got the single transducer. We're showing it here actually flush mounted, but all these Elite series come with the tilt and swivel bracket in the box, and also the flush mounting hardware. So you've got the choice. If you're on your kayaks and small day boats, then you're probably going to bracket mount. And if you decide that you want you've got a nice big console space and then you want a nice neat installation, you can then flush mount that in there. And with these flush mounted, they'll still work fine with that GPS, that antenna that's built in. You're not having to worry about fitting an external antenna. Okay, so and the advantages with this bigger screen on the Elite 7, so we can see here we've got a two screen split screen. If I press the page button here, we've got our options of different screen combinations. Because we've got the larger screen, we can actually split it into three. So we've got now chart showing with your regular sonar, your broadband sounder, and your HDI sounder, with the downscan for all your structure definition.
That's more than enough to shake a stick at there, Craig. All that gadgetry, yeah.
That's it, yeah. No, there's a lot all from one little unit, and also in a pretty well priced package.
I do like that, the wider monitor, the wider screen there. That's for me because I need these things as well.
Yeah.
But Craig, on here is a separate stand. This looks like to me pretty much the same widescreen, but it looks to me as though it's portable, is it?
That's it, exactly, yeah. Same unit, we've got some accessories for it again. We do a nice little portable bag, self-contained with its own power supply.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Okay, so this is again the Elite 7 HDI model. Now what we're looking at here is actually an accessory due for the Elite series. It's our universal portable grab bag, which is quite popular. I mean, we've got guys use it for ice fishing and things like that. Now what it comes with is you buy the bag separately to the unit. It'll come with it's got a built-in battery pack, which is chargeable, and also comes with a nice little suction cup mount, which allows you to adapt your transducer that's supplied. So if you're using it on smaller sort of day boats and you're chopping and changing from boat to boat, you can actually just sucker the transducer onto the back and you're away. Also for the ice fishing, it comes with a little float mount, so you cut your hole in the ice, attach your transducer to this float mount, sit it through that hole, and then you can obviously start to see the fish that are below you.
Good idea, good idea.
Okay, so with the bag, obviously you've got your nice little suction cup mount, which comes so you can adapt your transducer. You can see the unit is on this nice durable mount here. Now we can also, if you don't want to have the unit contained within the bag, we can then take it up and step it up so it actually sits above the bag. So we've got this nice little mount here.
These are extensions, they're rigid, these are rigid.
Nice solid rigid extensions, all part of the bag. So that unit's nice and solid in there. You can obviously, because it's on the normal mounting bracket that's supplied with the unit, we can still tilt it if we want to. And then in here at the back you can see we've got our little 12-volt battery. Now that will power that unit quite happily for the whole day, provided you've remembered to put it on charge the night before. We've got
you just leave it on for the night, that's all you need for the next day's fishing or whatever?
That's it, yeah. Just leave it on overnight, it will just trickle charge that battery. And then when you're done, you can just quite happily take the unit off, put it on the lower mount here, and then you've got a zip, the bag will zip right up. So with this 7-inch model, it's a little bit bigger. This bag's universal, so it will work with our Elite 4, the Elite 5 and the Elite 7 series.
Now on the subject of batteries, I've always been told, let's say guys go for a couple of hours fishing, they come back, should they recharge that battery or should they always drain a battery down? What should they do, before giving it another charge? Somebody said it eats the life of the battery or shortens the life of the battery if you don't give it a full charge.
That can be the case with some batteries. These batteries, you don't have to worry about that. So when you come back, just stick it straight on charge. It's not going to shorten the life of that battery.
It won't. Oh, that's good. Now, what other facilities, is there anything different on this one? This is exactly the same.
It's pretty much the same unit. I mean, we run through a little bit more. So, I mean, quite a nice unique feature with these Elite series is you can see here we've got our little overlay numbers. So these are all user configurable. So you can configure how many lots of overlay data there are, but also what size they are. So you can see here we've got two of the smaller settings. One's showing our speed through the water, one's showing speed through the ground. In fact, that one's temperature of the water, and then we've got our depth here highlighted in a much bigger number. So for those that don't want to be squinting at the screen, they can really blow these numbers up so they're nice and clearly defined.
So you can make them even bigger than that, then, the numbers, if you wanted?
Yes, that's it, yeah. Mapping with these units, we have a little card slot on the side here, a little micro SD card.
Yep.
Now, we don't produce our own maps. We use our units, we call it dual fuel. So they will use Navionics, also CMAP N charts. And we've now got a new product which is part of the Navico brand, which is called Insight Genesis.
Yeah.
Now this comes in a scratch card form, which you can buy through your retailers, or you can buy it as an online. It's actually a subscription. Now what it allows you to do is you can go out on these units, you can log that sonar information. So if you have a combined GPS and sonar model,
yeah,
you can set it to log that data to the SD card. So if you're in an area like an inland lake or an area where there's not a great amount of chart information, you can log that data, take it back home to your PC, sign in on your account, and you can then transfer that data into your account, and it will generate a really detailed contour map for you. It will give you things like, it will show you the vegetation that's on the seabed in that area. It will give you a lot more bathymetric contour data compared to what's on your normal chart, and it will also give you composition. So it will show you the different types of seabed. So it will show you areas where you've got more solid rock, and also show you areas where you have mud and things like that.
So this is good for people that are going, let's say, kayaking, small boating, but what I call, and I do it myself, pioneering fishing.
Yeah.
Brand new area, you've never been there before, and you know, obviously you might have a chart, but what's within that chart area, there's always different bits of ground. So it's ideal in that respect. It's going to give you a full-on display of the seabed.
Yes, that's it exactly. And also with your normal charts, it's quite an expense for that chart card. I mean, you can be talking about £100. This subscription it's about £70, and that lasts for 12 months. But you can record as much data as you like. So I mean, you can go in and survey as many lakes as you like if you've got access to lots of lakes, and it only takes about 10 minutes for it to upload that data and process it.
Really?
And it creates a very detailed map.
Now then, we're up here. We're obviously based at the Lyndon Lewis area up here at Shepperton. And of their two operations, I have pikefish down on Shepperton Weir, and I understand they might have a boat there rigged up, and we might even be able to run out and show people on the bottom there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this area is not really any chart detail for this sort of area, so what we're going to do is we're going to go out and try and do some live insight recording. Also show you a bit of the structure, the downscan sonar as well, see if we can find any nice holes out there on the river and get some good structure detail.
But I've bought no fishing rods, Craig.
We'll have to go and see if we can pinch one from somewhere.
Don't find anything too interesting. Well, that's what I love about the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. We don't know what we're doing, we don't know where we're going. Craig from Lowlands is going to take me out on one of the Lyndon Lewis boats and show me how this little portable sounder works. I'm really intrigued by this. I'll be interested to see it. I've only ever been up here for one afternoon pike fishing. Some of you have seen it on YouTube. They had a big 20-pound pike up in the weir, the main weir pool. But, you know, I didn't really get a chance to use that sounder, well, as much as I wanted to. It's a little one. This is a new piece of kit, brand new. I want to see the definition now. I want to see what exactly the bottom looks like. Am I going to be blown away? Are you guys going to be blown away? Portable unit. I'm going to film one coming on my boat soon.
Okay, so we're here on our little boat, just about to go out on the river here. We've got our Elite 5 in its portable case. You can see we found a nice level spot on the boat. It's all powered up, turned on, ready to go. Got our transducer cable running down the back here, so we better get the suction cup and stick it onto the back of the hull. Right, we see we've got our suction cup mount here for the transducer. Make sure it's sitting reasonably level. And it comes with a little safety lanyard as standard, so if it did come unstuck, we're not going to lose it to the prop. So we'll just stick it on the back here, out the water, so it suckers on, and then we'll slide that down the hull into position, making sure it's nice and level. It's not shooting off at an angle.
Got to be flat with the level of the water, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Otherwise you'll end up shooting the signal off to the side and you won't get a very good recording. But that looks pretty level to me. We're not too near to the prop, so we're not going to get too much noise off the propeller itself. And yeah, we're good to go. We'll tie the lanyard off somewhere secure.
Hi Graham, going to show you this new Krueger Delta angler, and we call it the Pro Angler in the UK. The boat comes 14'6" long. It's a nice deep boat and it's category C rated, so it's good for inshore fishing and rivers, estuaries and lakes. This boat's been developed by Krueger to be a little like the American bass boats. The two swivel seats can be mounted on the bow or the stern, and then they can come down into the cockpit position for moving the boat around. Nice, comfortable, safe fishing position on the bow or the stern. Little centre console. The seats can be either in the driving position or mounted for casting on the deck, or on the stern position here. Nice big storage lockers under the seats, and this boat has got a Yamaha F25 4-stroke engine on the back, and with two up on this boat you can expect to get about 22-23 knots out of this boat, so you can get to your fishing places quite fast. But again, on the river or on a lake, a little 10 horsepower would be perfectly adequate. So one of the other good features about this boat, even with the engine mounted, it comes in on under 750 kilos for for the new trailer rules, so easily launchable by 2 persons at sea, and probably 1 person can easily launch this from a small car and trailer for rivers, estuaries and lakes. Another important feature these days, I think.
Well guys, we're out on my favourite area now, which is wet and moving. It's the water. And Craig, we're in by the first whirlpool here up at Shepperton. An area I've not actually fished in here, close in here before. So hopefully we're going to see something pretty unusual on the bottom.
Right, we're just here out on the river, and we've got the downscan sonar set up at the moment. We're operating at the 800 kHz setting, which is going to give us the clearest possible image. We're in quite a bit of turbulent water here. We've got the runoff from the weir, so you can actually see all these columns of bubbles and air in the water. And if we look here, it looks like we've got quite a few nice little fish hanging about just below that aerated water, probably picking some of the bits up as they come down off the weir here. And we can see we've got a few little objects on the riverbed as well, but I'm sure as we move around we'll start to see some interesting objects appear.
Is it going to pick up stuff like logs and even branches there?
Yeah,
okay.
If we can find any areas where there might be some submerged debris like trees and things, it'll probably pick that up nicely. You also see we've got a red recording sign here. I've actually set it to log this data because remember, with Insight Genesis, when we get back home, we can actually map this river out ourselves.
That's just in that tiny little corner, top right hand corner.
That's it, yeah, it's flashing away to show that it's recording, so it's logging all this information as we travel around to the SD card. And then when we get home, it will have all your speed, position information and the depth data combined on that log, and it'll be able to create us some nice contour maps.
Well, if we take the boat, we're right in the main race here. If we take the boat, we're right in the main race here. If we go across the other side, one assumes a current's got us now, but it might actually show us a bit of a shelf or something. Oh, it's coming up now. See it coming up now.
So now we're showing the your normal sounder split with the down scan. So this will show us a real good solid bottom lock, and this will also show any debris and any sort of if there's any branches and things like that. So here comes the shelf.
Yeah, look at the height of that coming up there. Look at that, it's amazing.
We've got something slightly weaker trace just off here, so that could be something like weed, some sort of vegetation as well. So that's dropped right up.
And I'll just show them with the camera how close we are here. There we go guys, you can see an ideal chub swim just back there, or indeed over here you can float a bait back down and you want to know actually how deep it is. I wouldn't be fishing in that boat over there, by the way. If we just show how deep it is, look, it's only just 2.6.
Yep, 2.5 meters.
And you can change that from feet to meters as well, I guess.
Yep, you can configure all the units to your personal liking.
Now if we ran left, if we turn the boat left, we're going to go out, one assumes slightly deeper. And there you can actually see like a shelf just there.
Bit of a hump, and now we're dropping right off.
Now it's dropping off.
It looks like there's a bit of weed down there as well. See that just coming off the seabed. You can really see how defined, because you miss a lot of that on your normal sounder at 200 kHz, whereas on the 800 kHz we can really see the weed and bits sticking up off the riverbed there. We'll change back to the full down scan view. See if we can find anything interesting.
So in a minute it should hopefully just drop off. There it goes. Yeah.
It's a big steep drop there as well.
If I bring it up, you can see that's the main channel. That drop off is actually the main channel that shoots through from the weir. Must scour that out, and the natural flow of the water just makes this deep area.
Let's just turn to the traditional sounder, and we'll just see if we can pick up any nice fish arcs or anything like that. We've got a lot of, at the moment you can see how the depth has suddenly dropped right off. That's because of all this aerated water. As we said earlier on in the trailer, it's knocking out the transducer signal. So to show if we see something that you like, scrolling back through, when you press enter, mark a waypoint. So you can see how useful a tool this can be. Not only have we got the good clear sonar data, we're able to use this information that we've recorded from this, and we'll be able to map these uncharted waters as such and get a bit more of a detailed map for the river here.
And this is the sort of detailed contour map that Genesis was able to give Craig after he uploaded the Lowrance information into his computer. Barely 10 minutes on this Shepperton whirlpool and I could see 2 huge cutaways in blue, ideal for locating that big pike. Now imagine how you could make your own map of previously uncharted areas. Totally awesome.
Consider yourself a fisherman. Just how far do you want to take it? Subscribe to this channel for more awesome videos.